Reiki, like another Japanese discipline called Aikido, was developed by two masters who had backgrounds in different arts. And you're going to watch this. You'll see a similar pattern here. They go out into nature. They fast a lot. They pray a lot. They meditate a lot. And angels of light in both situations delivered to these two masters a higher knowledge of the field they were already in. I'll give you an example of Aikido, and that is Morihei Shiba was a champion of martial artists, second to none. Won all kind of tournaments. He was the emperor's personal bodyguard for many, many, many years. And one day he went out into the woods. He was direct lineage of samurai heritage. And he began to duplicating the sword movements with his hands. And he realized if you were anchored in the energy of earth, you were anchored in the energy of God. And so when people started to attack him, he would step to the side and he would get behind them and just redirect their energy where it was already going. And so people would come and try to attack him with a sword. They couldn't touch him. They would do nothing of the kind. When they heard him working out, when he moved back home several years later, he would be in home and he would strike the wall with his palm of his hands. And they said his whole building would shake. And the guy was like 5'2", 5'3", 150 pounds. Imagine that, right? They caught him when tsunamis would come to Japan, and he would have his feet tied down on the roof, and he would anchor and root his energy, and the tsunami couldn't even blow him off the roof. They could not believe that he could ground that much energy. The week before he died physically, you're going to understand there's physical strength, psychic strength, and spiritual strength. Spirit, mind, and body are but one, the true chanda. And they brought him in because he was physically so frail in his 70s on a mobile tatami mat. And 4 black belts carried the master in. Now, I actually trained with a master in the Orient that was present this day, so I have this story firsthand. He was a 7th degree black belt and in charge of all the Aikido training in the island of Japan. And he said it was the most marvelous thing ever seen. They all knew that the master would not live long, and there were 120 black belts that were present that day sitting around. He had 6 black belts that were 5th degree and higher. He says, attack me all at once. And he rooted down, and when they would get within 4 to 6 feet of his energy field, they would go flying, and he didn't lay a hand on them. He would turn one way, and another one would fly, and another way. And they said it looked like the atom. And black belts were flying over the master's head. The next week in meditation, he left his body forever. So Reiki was developed a very, very similar way. The key when you're in any healing or martial arts, I want to say this because my whole life has been dedicated to being a Lama and a martial artist my whole life. I hold 4 black belts in 4 different martial arts, the master in one. And that is, it still comes down whether you say you're a healing art or warrior art, what is in your heart, what is in your mind, and what is in your spirit. Just like computers can be used to hurt children or educate children, martial arts can be used for healing, but it can also be used very nasty. So again, it's in your heart. So understand those 2 arts were originally created of God, and they're good. That doesn't mean that every Reiki master today, I want to make this clear, is of the same lineage that the original master was. It's true of the art of Aikido also.